Hey guys, do you like my new setup? Today I'll bring you a review, as promised, of the Cotman watercolor sketch by Winsor Newton. And this tiny little set comes with the palette, this little leaflet, which I'll talk about in a second, and also a very cute travel brush. You can tell I was struggling to open it a little bit, but in the end I got it. So this is the brush I was mentioning. This tiny brush is pretty cute. I do prefer a longer handle just because it makes my wrist cramp a little, but it's a great thing to have on the go. So I quickly unwrapped all of these, which some people I've heard saying they like that they are all wrapped individually like little candies. I personally find these quite annoying and a bit of a waste, like all the plastic. I do enjoy when it's just a thin layer of paper, but sure, they had to protect the paint, so I get it. Quickly swatching the colors. The colors are a very normal selection, a cool and a warm color of primary, so you have yellow, red, and blue in warm and cool, and then two greens, and then you have a yellow ochre, raw umber, and a raw burnt sienna along with the white. It has been a while since I used the pre-made set, and I tend to really dislike the greens that come in these. I will probably end up swatching some of the colors, but I'll talk more about that during the process, the drawing that we're going to be doing. So here's also just a little sheet of, I did a few mixings, and you can already tell the colors are a bit muddy when you mix them, but I will elaborate that in a second. So today's piece is actually a Draw This in Your Style by the one and only I'm a Wonder, Tina, and I love her Draw This in Your Style. The last time she did one, I immediately did them, and I actually have a video on it, so it'll be linked up here if you want to check it out. So I thought it would be a fun time to not think about the drawing a lot and just really focus on these paints. So to give you a little bit of a background, I used to have this set back in maybe 2016. It was my little treat yourself moment where I was digging watercolors, and at the time I believed I was using the Van Gogh same type of deal, and these ones seemed really cool, and I wanted something new. I had fallen out of love with watercolor in uni, and I really wanted something to just bring me back to that love I knew I had for them. So I got this set. At the time, it was awesome. I really liked it. I used it a ton, and I only did an upgrade from it maybe 3 or more years next, and that was Sennelier. This set is actually pretty great for a beginner. It has a small selection of colors, but they are in the middle terms of quality. I wouldn't call this full-on kids paint. You have those sets that have tons and tons of colors, but the quality is very low, and unfortunately a few beginners are drawn out to those sets since they seem easy to use because there's lots of colors. You seem like you'd be able to get somewhere with those, but in my opinion, a set with less colors will help you a lot more in learning how to color mix, and also allow you to have a bit more quality in your paints, because if you have less colors, in theory, you have more quality in them if they're on the same price range, if I can make myself being understood. And so these colors work great. Honestly, if I hadn't been using more artist-grade colors right now, I probably would have zero complaints about them, since my complaints more about this set is mostly about how muddy the colors get with lots of mixing. So that means that they have a bit of a binder to it, or maybe some filler or some other pigment that just makes them a bit more opaque and a bit muddy when you mix them a lot, which is very normal with student grade paints. It's super normal because It's not something you usually care a lot when you're still learning, but it's a great set to start learning, and I actually had lots of fun using it. I never felt like, oh, this is terrible, I hate this. I did miss my more clear mixtures. That's the only thing I really missed. I also forgot to mention that I'm using a ceramic palette on the side since I enjoy mixing lots of colors, and this set, since it's small, it only has 3 mixing spaces, which it surprised me how I used to use that no problem, because now I just use that to mix the little swatches, and I felt so constricted in such a small space that I just really needed to get my palette. Quickly mention, this set was gifted to me by Olmar, which is a Portuguese brand, and they gifted me a bunch of stuff in my last video. I'll link it here as well. You can go there and just see what they gifted me, since I will probably be doing lots of videos with all the stuff that they gave me. And so they didn't ask me to do a review, I just thought it was really fun that they gave me the set. All of the products that they gave me are quite middle ground in terms of art supplies, so I thought it would be quite accessible to some of you guys that might be interested. One thing I think you can also tell, the paint, alongside of becoming quite opaque, when I mix a lot, it kind of gets a bit of gloopiness to it, which when it came to the line art, it kind of bugged me. It was not the greatest. You can tell here in the hair, because to get this color, I had to mix a lot of paint. And I honestly did such a dent on the, I believe it's like the crimson hue or something like that, that I did a dent. I really used that color a lot. So on the following day, the set is still as hard to open as always, but I think I got it now. It's just not the super easiest to open, which is good for travel. And the paints, some of the pans get stuck on the top of the lid, but that used to happen to me before as well. So I think it's just a thing from these paints, which they're not being super dry is actually good. It means they have some kind of ease to reactivate, which they actually are super easy to reactivate, so that's a good thing. I quickly want to discuss here the information that there is on the leaflet, and I don't think I saw this last time I used these. Some of the paints are actually, they have a light fastness of around they have a system which is AA, A, or IV, and I believe only the Prussian blue, which is not on the set, is really not light fast. The other ones are sort of in the middle, which is good, and it's nice that they have this system, even though this is sort of a more student grade set, because most cheaper sets don't even have this information at all. So I was actually really surprised to find these, because at the time that I had that set, I honestly didn't care at all about light fastness. I was just doing studies on my sketchbook. I had not even begun my journey of thinking of selling my work, so it was really nice to see that this information was there all along. So it's been a while since I've had a pre-made set, as I mentioned, and now I like to make my own sets with colors that I know that I'm going to be using. For example, this set has a Viridian hue, and if you know anything about me, I hate Viridian. I really don't know why. I don't really like green, and I never use these colors. So I am going to keep this set for myself, since I am going to be doing some workshops, Olmar's Instagram in the future, and this set will be great for them. So I think I'm going to be purchasing maybe 2 colors to replace those greens, because I can easily make my own greens if I really want to. So I might just do that because I use green so little that I really don't mind if I have to get a little bit of a muddy green. But if I could get colors that I really like using a lot and compromise and not get those muddy, I might get either indigo or a Payne's gray, or they also have a permanent rose, which, you know me, I like stuff like that. So I'm really thinking of just buying a few pans to make this set really my own. So here in this part, last time I had this set, I replaced the white with a black. So I believe it was ivory black. Because I had in my head that phase of, oh, a real watercolor artist don't use white. I heard that somewhere on the internet and I really had that in my head. So I completely ran away from white. In my Jello Mission Gold set, they had white. So I started using it to create accents, sort of making my own gouache while I'm using watercolor, and I found out that's really fun. So I really wanted to try and use the set like that. But the white in this set is so disappointing. It creates, again, just a gloopy paint. It has not a lot of coverage and the texture is a bit yucky. So the white really disappointed me, and I'm glad I didn't use it back when I didn't know that I could use it, because I think it would give me even more of a bad idea of it. Don't get me wrong, it gave me a great base for my acrylic pens to go, because you'll see in a second, I go crazy with acrylic pens on this drawing, because I needed that color. And right now with my Jello Mission Gold, I can get some really nice opaque colors with the white watercolor that comes with it, and I thought I could do the same here. Not really. So if you get this set, I wouldn't really use the white, to be honest. It doesn't do that much that if you really want to get a white paint, you might as well just use either gouache or acrylic. It gave it a good shot, but you can tell in the clouds just how patchy and sad it is. So I might say goodbye to it in this pan. I might just have it around, but I really don't think I'll be using it. So I think, yeah, I'm for sure going to get maybe 2 colors just to say goodbye to those greens, because I don't think I touched them at all. The one I really used was the alizarin crimson hue. That one I used a lot. Another cool thing in their little packages is they tell you the pigment they used. So most of these are single pigment according to these, which surprised me a lot since they get so muddy. So if it's not multiple pigments that's making them so muddy, I really don't know what it is. I think maybe it's just filler or some sort of pigment, because yeah, according to this information, most of them are single pigments. For example, the lemon yellow, it's a pigment PY175. So these, if they are single pigments, they shouldn't be this muddy. So I really don't know why. Recapping, if you are a beginner and you want to learn color theory, or you want to just have a small convenient set that you'll know will give you a pretty good performance according to the price, this set is not too pricey, I would totally go for the set. I had it before I was all crazy with higher end quality paints, and I had zero problem using this paint set for years and years, and I never felt like I was lacking in anything. And it allowed me to learn a lot. Like, I would consider I learned the most in those years using the set, because I wasn't preoccupied with it being, oh, super expensive, I can't waste it. I really am advocate to, when you are a beginner, use cheaper supplies that you know won't hold you back in terms of being horrible in performance, but you feel safe using that in terms of you won't feel guilty using them. It's great for beginners. I actually am taking a class, online class, and one of the ladies in my class saw my Instagram and actually came asking me for tips on how to start, and I actually recommended her this set because it's small, it's easy to travel with if you want to do plein air, it's relatively cheap. It also has pretty much all the colors that you need to learn a little bit of color theory. Even though it does get muddy when you mix them, you can still learn a lot with mixing the colors. They are relatively well quality comparing to sets with lots of colors, which were the ones that she told me she was more guided towards because she got confused with all the options, all the colors, And so I really do think a smaller set, you can't go wrong with them. If you really want to go hardcore learning, there are sets that I have only the primaries, and those are really hardcore for someone that really wants to learn color theory, but someone that just wants to try and focus with water control, how to do washes, how does watercolor behave, this set is pretty great. So this is the end of my review. I want to thank you so much for joining me. I also want to thank Olmar for sending me this set to allow me to review it, since I'm pretty excited to review more middle-end products. And the next video, I'm not sure which product I'll be doing or if I'm going to be doing something else. So if you have any suggestions of what you want to see in my next video, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching and for being here. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Let me know again, have you ever used this set? Do you like it? If you don't like it, what made it not great for you? If you agree with anything that I said, or if you had a different experience, because we're all different people and we all use mediums in a different way. Again, thanks for being here, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!